Hi and welcome to the FlatBackFour with me, Andy McGuire, and joining me this week is Scott Eaglen, and finally, Liverpool are champions.
Yeah.
How you doing, Scott? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, good. So we're going to jump straight into it because obviously it was inevitable that Liverpool were going to win the league. And it was when the project restart started, we was all thinking, when was it going to be and whatnot. And it was, once again, Chelsea who won the league for another team. Because if you remember, 4 years ago, they beat Spurs, which of course meant Leicester won the league, didn't they? So thoroughly deserved for Liverpool, as they have been the best team all season. The fact that they didn't win it at their own ground and because of coronavirus maybe does take a little bit of glare off it. But what do you think this does mean for Liverpool and what they can do now going forward?
I think we spoke about this before, haven't we? I would hope that the lack of fans in this title win would sort of spur them on next year, to win it in front of fans. Thoroughly deserved, like you say. They've been by far and away the best team in England. They've maybe not replicated that in the Champions League. They've probably focused on the league a lot over the last few months.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah, which is what they've needed to do probably over the last 4 or 5 years, haven't they, to get the Premier League. But yeah, I mean, it just shows how good Liverpool are, that how good Man City have been over the last few weeks. They're just dispatching of teams like the conference teams, aren't they? It just shows how good Liverpool have been up until now. But yeah, thoroughly deserved.
But we can't not talk about what happened last night at the Etihad, because I watched the game and I don't think anyone can blame Liverpool for enjoying it. But I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, right? When Man United used to win league after league after league, and same when Jose Mourinho were going up against Wenger, I was so disappointed in that Liverpool performance last night. Not because we all knew that maybe they played with a hangover. I think actually, I don't even think people were playing with a hangover. Gomez looked like he was still slaughtered. Okay, yeah. But I was a little bit disappointed with the professionalism, because after winning the league, and then the fact that their next game was against the previous champions, just to kind of seal it, they were awful last night. They weren't even not just not great. They were awful last night. Joe Gomez was horrendous.
Yeah.
Andy Robertson, horrendous. Now Robertson has had more than enough games to prove that he's world class, and we think he's great. But obviously we did our overrated players show, and of course BB said that he thinks that Gomez is overrated. Now I've watched that kid. I don't think he's had a good game since about 2017. I know he's had his fair share of injuries, but he was horrendous last night.
Yeah, well, poor, wasn't he? I mean, he was no worse than the rest of the team, to be honest. He weren't as...
oh, no.
You know what I mean?
But when you had that last line of defence...
Yeah, I know. It's difficult, isn't it? I think if that was in a stadium full of fans, I don't think it would have been a 4-0 game. I think Liverpool have probably just taken the foot firmly off the pedal. Like you say, mate, I don't think a Man United team of old, Man City over the last couple of seasons, wouldn't have taken the foot off the gas. It's probably just a lack of focus. There's not, like we say, there's not fans in the stadium to give you that focus, is there? What do you think went wrong?
I just feel that, like, when I think, in the past when, probably Fergie's teams did celebrate and stuff like that, but I was just a little bit disappointed the fact that being that the first title, and if they weren't playing anyone other than Man City, might have been a little bit forgiving. But I know that you could probably say, well, they were the second best team, so they're probably the team that could beat Liverpool 4-0. But it was such a lacklustre showing, and the fact that it was almost just like, oh, we've won it now, we'll down tools, and then we'll prepare for next season. Where, for me, a winning mentality, regardless whether they won the Champions League last year and they've won the league this year, you press on. I don't think a Guardiola team would have lost 4-0 to Liverpool if this had been role reversal last year.
I agree.
But bringing on to that with Man City, I tell you now, we spoke about that Grealish and that. But once again, Foden ran the show along with Kevin De Bruyne, who's world class and 29-year-old. But Phil Foden, man, was different. It was different level again last night.
What a player, mate! I think in podcast number 2 or 3, Foden was my not one to watch, because we all knew that we were going to watch out for him, but he was going to be probably the person who would benefit the most from having the Euros postponed until next season, because now this is 100%. Do you know what I mean? This is Phil Foden, and there's opportunity now to put his name forward. And actually, over the last season and a half, Pep Guardiola has been criticised big time, hasn't he, for sort of biding his time and keeping him out of the team, and people are saying loan him out. But actually, hasn't this just proven Guardiola's point that the time away, in and out of the team and learning off other players in training and stuff, from being around David Silva, being around Bernardo Silva, just phasing his way into the team has been proved right. And would he have got that experience elsewhere? Do you remember when Jack Wilshere? Yeah, that loan.
Just taking the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, the loan at Bolton. He wasn't really getting the time he needed at Arsenal, and he was sent out on loan to Bolton. Yeah.
And he did shine, didn't he, when he went to Bolton? He did play. I think that was the 10-11 season, wasn't it?
Yeah, and again at Bournemouth, didn't he? Went to Bournemouth towards the back end of his Arsenal career. But actually, I think Guardiola's been bob on, hasn't he, by keeping him in and around the team, biding his time, being around David Silva, Bernardo Silva.
Do you think though, Scott, the fact that because he obviously kept him inside playing obviously with David Silva, De Bruyne, and probably there's not another team bar Liverpool, which is never going to go on loan to Liverpool, for him to play that same type of football and that mentality, apart from if maybe he went again to a top team in Europe, and again, not many people play like Liverpool, Man City. So realistically, keep him in the shell, David Silva, arm round him, Bernardo Silva, and just watch and learn from these fantastic players.
Yeah, I mean, me and you have played football for ages, and I'll ask you, mate. We've played in good five-a-side teams, excellent five-a-side teams, and some absolutely atrocious ones. I think it brings you out as a better player, doesn't it, if you've got better players around you, don't you think?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, for him, I think if he went to say if he'd gone to Bournemouth, say, he probably would have stood out like a sore thumb. But also, there's that risk of, because he will be playing in such a poor team, that he gets not dragged down to their level, because class will always show. Like I said, we've played in bad teams, but we've still gone. I've still scored 6, and you've still scored. You go, well, we were the best players on that team, but it doesn't necessarily mean as a team it will improve that player. Whereas when they do 11 aside in training, and you've got Kevin De Bruyne on one side, and you've got Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva and Fernandinho. I mean,
I'll ask you this then, for me. I'll ask you this. It's maybe not a Premier League related question, but in terms of satisfaction, what are you most satisfied by? Playing on a terrible team, scoring 4 or 5 goals, or playing in a brilliant team where you're all absolutely excellent and you maybe only score 1 or 2?
Well, the team, you can get away, individual brilliance, of course, we've watched throughout the years, but it just proves, look at Lionel Messi for Argentina. He's the best player to ever pull on that shirt. Maybe people argue with Maradona and stuff, but all right, natural ability maybe, but he hasn't won them. So it proves that being in a good team, playing a system, and your formations, and you know where I'm going to run in a game, because we've played together for 12 years. I think if you can keep which I think what he likes to build a dynasty. I think Guardiola, love that word by the way, dynasty. I think he's trying to. I think he likes to build football in dynasties, and he wants to build players around things. And I think that he must be looking at Phil Foden and seeing the progression of him, and actually the goals that he's scoring ratio is brilliant, because I don't think he was ever nailed on to be like a goal scorer. I think he's a creative, but how can you not score goals in that team?
Yeah, another reason why I asked you that, mate, about being in a good team or being in a not so good team and scoring loads of goals. I don't know if you saw the interview with Mohamed Salah a couple of days back, and they were asked the question, weren't they? Would you rather get the golden boot or the 100 points?
Oh yeah.
And he said, get the golden boot, and I just think that sort of summed Liverpool's performance up last night. Maybe Salah was going for the sort of individual awards, and rather than going for the that team.
Didn't he share it a couple of years ago? He shared it, didn't it, with Aubameyang? Last season, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe he's just thinking personal accolade. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It wouldn't be.
What would you do? Would you be in a team? Would you rather have the team, the better team?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I would have got more satisfaction, playing those little 1-2s, those little triangles with fantastic teams, and maybe scoring 1 or 2 or assisting to other guys, rather than, scoring something out of nothing, 4 or 5 goals in a not so good team.
Well, it's a point that you make because we always talk about that. The viewers are thinking, "What the hell are they going on about?" But remember when we played and we won 1-0 in that semi-final, and I scored that one goal. But that one goal sent us through, and we still speak about it now because of how we played that game, and we shut the other team out. We it was one goal, and then backs against the wall, but we attacked it. It was brilliant. But and there's been times this season where Man City and Liverpool have both done a performance where you just sit back and go. Like Kevin De Bruyne is I don't know. His passing could be some of the best I've ever seen in the Premier League.
I've never seen somebody pass a ball so precise, like the precision on his passing. And I know you're a big fan of these like balls. You know where he's out wide and he's just on the right hand side. And McGuire or Jesus will be just right at the far post and then whips it right round. And those are the sort of balls that are undefendable.
It's a kind of tools that he's got in his whole itinerary, like that. He's got the swinging balls. He's got the eye through a needle. Either needle passes and whatnot. He just seems to have every single thing. And I thought him and Foden together linked up just unbelievable last night.
It'll be a real shame when he moves to Newcastle next year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, I listen. I think we're going to have to. I think with the Man City fine thing, I think they are going to get a heavy fine. I think they won't be thrown out of the competition. I can't see it with the whole Corona thing. I don't know. It's probably helped them in a way this year.
And the amount of money that probably Man City bring to the Champions League as well in terms of revenue.
I agree. And they could still win it. They could still win it this year.
Imagine if they won it as well, and then they're out of it next year. Unbelievable. I can't see them being thrown out. It'll just be one of those. It'll just be a heavy fine.
I agree, and maybe a very, very last warning. Yeah, I agree. All right, so we've gone over the Liverpool thing. They are deserving champions, but I don't want to see them whimper out the season. I want to see them finish the 4 or 5 games that are left. Strong. As for Man City, I think they'll rebuild. I think they know where they need to rebuild. I think it's not rocket science. They might go get another striker, but they need defenders big time. He tried Diaz last night, and it looks okay, but you can't really see enough of him.
It'd be interesting to see who they bring in. I can't think off the top of my head, and I don't know about you, mate. I can't think of any top centre backs across Europe. In terms of
there's only Koulibaly, but he's 29 and he's 30. And he's
exactly.
Going to be 90 million for a.
Man City aren't going to go for a player like that. They're going to want to go for somebody of that sort of Laporte age. When he first came in, like 23, 24, just developing, and they can slot him alongside Laporte. I can't think of that many centre backs across Europe, to be honest.
No, I can't either. But it's going to be interesting what they do. I think they'll go easy on the spending as well. I don't think they'll go as big as we think. I just think they might spend a bit on one position and then just maybe add a couple of squad players. But Leroy Sané has obviously just completed his move to Bayern Munich. I'm a big fan of Leroy Sané. I'm pretty gutted. Yeah, I'm pretty gutted that he's gone because I always thought he lit up a football pitch when he come on. Bayern have got themselves another gem there. I know he's German and maybe it was inevitable, and I think maybe him and Pep didn't really see eye to eye. But
you'd think it was a big loss for them, but like you say, it does tell you something that he wasn't picked for Germany in the World Cup or the Euros, and then he hasn't seen eye to eye to Pep. So is there an underlying issue there maybe?
He doesn't come across as an arrogant guy, though. He
comes across quite quiet, doesn't he? Quite.
Yeah.
Just gets along with his business.
But then again, you would argue. I mean, if you'd have said to me maybe 18 months ago, who's a better player, Sané or Mahrez, I'd have said Sané. But Mahrez has been that good, and especially since lockdown, Mahrez has come back absolutely all guns blazing.
Yeah.
He looks the real deal. Not that he wasn't because he's won a league, but you know what I mean. He really seems like he's gone. Yeah. But you know what? Sané is off, so this is my chance to really, knuckle back. And of course Sterling got in with a couple of goals last night, so they'll come back strong, but it's going to be interesting to see who they buy. Just on the other flip side, we'll go down the league a little bit. Sheffield finally got back to winning ways, and there was a big controversy with the handball with Lucas Moura yesterday.
Right,
I can't get my head around this one.
Can we spend a few minutes talking about VAR, please, mate? We'll talk about this decision, and we'll talk about decision.
We can.
We'll talk about the decision in the Chelsea West Ham game of the header.
Oh, we know you're a big VAR fan. We know you love VAR.
Yeah, I love VAR.
I was open to it. I was open to VAR, and now I've gone the other side. But I think you had to be open to it because we all questioned, even you and me, we questioned goal line technology. And apart from the Sheffield United game, it has worked brilliant, right? VAR, though, I mean, there is. Talk about going to the letter of the law. I mean, where is common sense going? Lucas Moura didn't even know that it hit his arm. But I read up on it, and it's the fact that it led to a goal-scoring opportunity, correct, which they scored from. You know, but come on. I mean, you know, what he was actually fouled. So technically, I actually thought, well, technically, maybe the goal should have been given. He's played advantage. All right, that he's come off the top of the arm a little bit, but I mean. Yeah.
I
didn't really know what.
Do you want me to have a bit of a rant?
Here we go. I mean, I'll just set up for this. No, go on.
VAR is going to be the death of the football that we know. Players are scared to celebrate nowadays. You know, you saw the header the other night of Souček, who scored. Souček. He didn't even celebrate. His teammates didn't even celebrate because he thought he was going to get ruled out. I mean, the goals that they're ruling out are because of the tiniest margins, you know, we've seen this season of, you know, players with toenails being offside. You know, it's touched somebody's like forearm accidentally.
Antonio's forehead was offside.
Even though his arm is right by his side, couldn't have done anything about it, but it's touched his arm. You know, it's led to a goal. I've heard people saying that, you know, it's the rules that are the problem. The rules are the problem. No, the rules aren't the problem. You could put any rule forward, and VAR will follow it to the letter of the law. You know, rules are there to
technically they're getting it right, aren't they? That's the issue.
Technically, VAR is getting every decision right to the letter of the law. But the beauty about football, mate, and I don't know how you feel about this now, thinking back, the beauty of football is that rules are not there to be broken, but that they are there to be governed by one person. That one person is the referee, and if another person disagrees with the referee, well, it's tough. I'm sorry. The referee has a final say. I agree. And we saw the decision the other night in the West Ham game. If it takes 2.5 minutes to make a decision, it is not clear and obvious. If it takes longer than 5 seconds, it is not clear and obvious. Why are we persisting with VAR in general?
I disagree with that. I disagree that if it takes 5 seconds, I think, you know, a certain angle, you might not see a pull, or you might not. I think.
But then it's not clear and obvious. Camera angles. And it's not clear and obvious.
Well, no, but it's still a foul as a foul. So you've got to.
You're saying if you look at it in a different angle. Well, whichever angle you look at it, if it's not clear and obvious from that angle, it's not a goal.
But a referee could be blindsided. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if they look at it from a camera angle, and again, mate, it's when I say longer than 5 seconds, I'm talking 10. I'm not saying like, and I agree with you. I'm just saying you see it and you go, no, it's all right. You see it from one angle, you go, oh my God, he has. All right, yeah, it's a penalty. Done.
No,
that for me is.
I'm still not having it, mate. The beauty of football, and you know, me and you have been to countless games. The beauty of football is that immediate reaction when a goal's scored. It is immediate, and it's that elation, that pure elation. That goal goes in, you hear it hit that beautiful sound when it hits the back of the net or it hits the post and goes in.
Oh yeah.
Like Lampard and Robben back in 2006. You know, when that ball hits the back of the net, it's that immediate celebration. You know, nothing will ever beat that. And now going forward, every football fan is going to have to either not celebrate as much or, you know, celebrate and then go, oh, I'm not sure. And it's going to cause, you know, we're seeing decisions now as well where, you know, people are being flagged offside or they're playing on and then letting it get overruled by VAR. You know, what if the player gets injured? You know, and we've had to play on because of VAR.
I get that.
I just, you know me, mate, I'm dead against it, and nobody will.
Remember Aubameyang last year? Aubameyang at Old Trafford, the referee linesman got it horribly wrong, and Aubameyang was about 3 yards offside, and he was waiting, but then he kind of went, "Oh no, sorry, I'm going to go ahead," and he did score, and man, you know, everyone were arms up in the air, and VAR looked at it, and that is where VAR obviously does come in, because these players are so quick. I do get it if a linesman does miss it, and I think for them, like you just said there, if it's not clear, we could all see Aubameyang were about 3 yards onside, perfect, right? But then, but even in clear cut, when you know VAR has got it, when you know the referee's got it wrong, they still look at every angle for a minute and a half, and we go, that first angle has just proved that the ref were wrong, give the penalty or the free kick or the red, whatever it is, and we move on. It's the time that it's taking, but apparently they are under review. FIFA are reviewing it now, and apparently next season it's going to be the offside's going to go down from if an arm's offside. Well, that's not giving really any advantage.
Now we're having different rules for different seasons. I mean, I'm a traditionalist. You know me, mate. I like to see football being played the exact same as it is in the Premier League, right down to the Isthmian League or the Sunday League. There should be no difference. I get goal line technology and I understand the importance of that, and it's now in Championship and it works really well because it is immediate.
Yeah.
As soon as that goal goes in, the referee sees it straight away and it's a goal. Done. Yeah. There is no time in a football game to wait for VAR. But one thing I will say though, mate, I don't know if you remember was it 2018 World Cup where they had VAR. I don't remember this many controversial decisions. I remember one or two maybe.
We dreaded it because I was like, God, because I remember thinking, all right, you're going to travel it, but in a World Cup, I was thinking, no, this is going to be. But I totally agree with you, mate. The rules were definitely changed after that because actually in the World Cup it worked pretty damn well.
Yeah, I don't remember.
There were no.
Mate, I don't remember any controversial decision.
Croatia game, there was only a little, but even then, it was like a 30-second VAR, and even people were saying, "Oh, I can live with that." And everyone thought, well, actually, maybe we need to give VAR a chance. Came in, and it was just Carling Cups won it get first.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've had a season and a bit now of this, and they've just got it completely wrong. I mean we could do a whole podcast on VAR and the decisions we could do, but let's just get back to Sheffield, who have obviously been done by VAR and goal line technology. They beat Spurs. The Lucas Moura, I mean, Jose was fuming, but I've got to be honest, mate, I thought Tottenham were just shocked. Eric Dyer is living up to his name. He was Dyer. Because,
you're not a big fan of him, are you?
Well, I was a huge fan of Eric Dyer. I thought he's great. You can play him in CDM, you can drop him back into defence. He looks real calm. He looks like he's never played before. And it looks like he's never played central defence. Well, I know that he played a lot of his career when he were coming through the Portugal, when he lived in Portugal. But I don't know if you saw the line of defence for Sheffield's third goal. I mean, honestly,
defending for that goal was absolutely.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
And
I mean, Stevie Wonder could have seen that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Jose Mourinho teams across the years have always been very defensively sound, haven't they? The first thing that he gets right when he goes into a club is get that defence right. But they just looks absolutely awful.
He was like the modern day George Graham, mate. Mourinho got that defence right.
Yeah, and that's not to say that he was defensive in any way. He just got his defence right, and then he could attack. And they were absolutely fantastic when they did attack. That's at Chelsea, that's at Real Madrid, that's at Inter, that's at Man United. But I don't know where Spurs go from here, mate. I don't know where they go because Kane is going to go. Mate.
I'm going to ask you something. I want your opinion on this, right? Alderweireld and Vertonghen signed them new contracts. They nearly got them out the door. The 30-31, right? Alderweireld kept hold of that deal. He wanted it. They kept getting in the team. They're playing Eric Dyer, who is technically a CDM in central defence, and you're meant to have two world-class. By the way, these two started the Champions League final 18 months ago. What has gone wrong there, Scott, with them?
Maybe lack of focus. I mean, we've talked about this, haven't we, mate? Once you reach the top, and we talked about players like a Mario Götze, when you reach the absolute top, where do you then go from there? And particularly if you lose a final, like Tottenham did last year, where do you go from there? And Spurs have only gone one way. There's only been 2 or 3 players that have been anywhere near like they were last year, and they just seem to have been on a downward spiral. Saying that, I'm not reading too much into this season because I think Spurs will be a lot better team next year with or without Harry Kane, even though I still think he's going to go to Man United. But I just don't know where they do go from here. I don't know. I think they're going to need at least 3, 4, possibly 5 signings.
Well, I'll tell you something. I think Dele Alli won't be there next year. I think that lad needs a change. I think he needs to go. I think maybe he's gone as far as he can do at Spurs. I don't think Mourinho's going to get the best out of him. I think for his own personal challenge for England, he needs to move because you look at that midfield with Mount, Foden, and he's going to have to really book his ideas up.
Right.
I think that maybe maybe because of the football, maybe Everton might be a good one for Dele Alli. I know it doesn't seem glamorous, but I think Carlo Ancelotti could get, he's a world-class manager, and I think sometimes I always think Dele Alli is a bit of that European edge, and I think that maybe someone like Ancelotti would get some out of him. Or potentially, I think Dele Alli could go abroad. I think Alderweireld and Vertonghen will go. I'm still not mad on Lloris. I'm still not mad on him. I still don't think he's. I think he's lost it a bit.
Him again. Won the World Cup. Then what?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know, but they really need some big things, and Harry Kane really has to look. He's 26. He's that huge contract's coming now for him.
He's got to go, mate.
And if I were him, I can't see him being at Spurs.
No, he's got to go. You put yourself in Harry Kane's shoes. No matter how much you love that club, you've got to the Champions League final, which is probably the height of, Paul Merson said it in here, the height of their success. What success? But they've gone nowhere since then. Spurs, I would say, are probably in a bit of a transitional period, which is probably going to last 1 or 2 years. They'll probably improve next year under Mourinho. Spurs fans will hate the type of football that he plays, but he'll get results and he'll probably win him a trophy. But where do they go from there? I'm not sure, because there's plenty of clubs coming up, like we see with Sheffield United, with Wolves, with Everton. There's plenty of clubs coming up. Leicester, they're coming to challenge for that fourth
they'll
spot.
rebuild. Yeah,
they might not even get Europe this season, mate. Spurs, for next year.
Yeah, I know.
But
well, actually, that brings us on nice. I mean, we'll come back to Spurs another time, but that they're gonna. I hope they don't whimper out. I don't think they will. But talk about teams whimpering. Leicester.
Oh.
I mean, they can. I mean, Vardy's 1 away from 100. He will eventually get it. I look again at that team, and I think the breaks are nothing for them. They were flying, and I think they're not flying, but they'd lost a bit of form, and then they'd actually come back. And I think they were the last game they beat Villa, didn't they? 4-0 just before the lockdown, and probably couldn't have come at a worse time for them, because maybe. And I don't think you can blame Brendan Rodgers, but Vardy don't look himself. They look a little bit unfit, if I'm being completely honest. Maddison still looks a class above in that team, but they're just lacking. Indeed, he doesn't look like the force he was. Kasper Schmeichel's had a decent, he's had a decent restart, saving the penalty and stuff. But yeah, they're just kind of whimpering out, and what happens to them? We all said that they'd have Champions League.
They looked nailed on for Champions League, didn't they? And actually, I looked at their form since January, and it's not been great at all since the turn of the year. They've won not a lot of games, but it just shows to you how good they were before January, before Christmas. That Villa win probably papered over the cracks, because Villa were absolutely dreadful that night. But Leicester are another one. Where do they go from here if they don't get in the Champions League? I think from where they were a couple of months back, that's probably going to go down as a failure. From where they were, not from where they were at the beginning of the season. Do you know what I mean? I think where they were in January, February time, they were nailed on for Champions League. There was title contenders, mate. It were a 3-horse race in December.
Yeah. I think we all kind of felt that they'd drop off, but I mean, they were definitely in the mix right up until December.
Also,
they had a great form.
Sorry, mate. On Jamie Vardy as well, I see it quite a lot on players that are stuck on a milestone. Just as they're about to get a milestone, they sort of stay on that like 99 or 199 or whatever for ages, and they can't seem to get that 100. And that's just a mental thing, innit? I think once Vardy gets
he will though. He'll get it. And what an achievement for him. Only coming into league football at 24, 25. I mean, it's unbelievable that he's managed to do it in 6, 7 seasons, really. But
hope for me.
And mate, I tell you, I'm still, like I say, I'm 33. I'm just still holding on. But Everton, they did him 2-1. Everton looked good. Calvert-Lewin, he's such a handful, man.
You're a big fan of Everton lately, mate. I've noticed. Picking up Everton a lot.
I like Everton. I'm a big fan of Ancelotti. I mean, the guy's an absolute god in football, let's be honest. I mean, as a player, he was tremendous. As a manager, he's been amazing. And I think it was such a coup, getting rid of Koeman and getting Ancelotti. But
very, very good.
No, but, it was because I think Ancelotti was the name, I think, that Everton, Marco Silva, sorry. I mean, he was just It was a pound shop Jose, wasn't it?
You really want me?
But we all said that. It was a pound shop Jose. We didn't like him. Useless manager. They could have gone and got Sean Dyche, who would have probably been in. But then all roads lead to Ancelotti, and I think he's just got him. And Calvert-Lewin, he said he just came up to me and said, "You can score 20 odd goals if you want to." Mate. And Calvert-Lewin went, "All right."
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate.
Okay.
If me and you aren't anywhere near Premier League class, but if Carlo Ancelotti came up to us and said you can score 20 Premier League goals, I'm thinking, yeah, of course I can. Yeah.
He's playing with that swagger, Calvert-Lewin. He's playing with that swagger, and I've always thought he had potential. I mean, I tell you, I always compare Calvert-Lewin. Look at Calvert-Lewin and look at Dominic Solanke. Right?
Correct.
And just look how one career's gone and the others. And I'm not saying it's any fault of Solanke's, right? It's not his fault.
They were both in that under-17s win, weren't they?
Exactly, and they all said. Ashley Cole were talking about Solanke, saying that every time they watched him in the youth, they were going, "God, this kid's going to be just next level," you know. Where Calvert-Lewin has just stayed. Sometimes he's had to go right, sometimes he's had to go left. He's played down the middle. He's got a lot of goals this year. He's also made some as well. He's playing that kind of European 10, but he'll score goals. But I think Ancelotti sees him as the big deal. I'm interested to what they buy this summer.
Everton. Yeah. It really depends on how much money they've got in the kitty, doesn't it? Are they going to give Ancelotti? I'm sure, to be honest, they've probably agreed an amount of Ancelotti to bring him over. But, a set amount of how much they're going to spend in the summer. I know you're a big fan of Sigurdsson, but again,
on his day he's unplayable.
Yeah, he's unplayable. But again, they're probably going to be a team who are going to want to strengthen at the back. Richarlison, it'd be good to keep hold of him. But I do think they did, even as good as Calvert-Lewin's been.
I tell you what though, mate, Richarlison, he runs. I mean, no one can accuse him of being a lazy player. Honestly, every time a defender gets the ball, whether it's left back or right back, he's running after one of them. Yeah. He's unbelievable. And I just think that whole team at the minute have bought into Ancelotti. I'm just interested to where they go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much money they spend. I think it'll be between them and Spurs next season, pushing for that fourth spot. Depends who spends the most money or who makes the best signings.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got a few minutes left, so we're going to talk about the bottom half leading into going into our next podcast. But the situation at Wolves, I mean, they've played 700 games this season. Yeah, 700 games. They're still playing well. Adama Traore is playing well. Jimenez is unbelievable. I think it's a great coup that he's only 29 and he's probably not going to go anywhere. He's going to stay for that project with Espirito Santo. And I'm so impressed by Wolves. Wherever they finish, they've just got my unbelievable praise and whatnot. Because I know that my praise is a lot to Wolves.
Oh, yeah,
to Wolves fans. But yeah, I mean, unbelievable. And it's going to be interesting next year, that whole Europa League slots and how it moves. Just with the likes of, I know Leicester are flying high, but I think next season it'll be the usual suspects, and then Wolves, Everton, so on. I think it's going to be a real fight for that next year. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Actually, thinking about the money that could be spent, there's probably not going to be a lot of money actually. Is there spent thinking about it because of the virus, because of the lack of money in football probably over the next few months. It'll be who spends the best, isn't it? Not the most.
I agree, and I'll tell you what. Next year we'll finish on this surprise team for next year for maybe winning the league.
Chelsea.
Yeah, me too. Already buying quite well. Really like Pulisic. Yeah. Think he's going to be a top player. I mean, I wasn't Eden Hazard's biggest fan. Come on. At me. Andy McGuire 4 on Twitter. At me, because I don't think he was that good, but he's brilliant.
I'll let you end on this, mate. Lionel Messi, apparently he might be leaving.
Hey, I think, I can smell something.
I can smell
something. Can you smell something?
Is that a 2-year deal?
It's a 2-year deal. It's a 2-year deal, yeah. He's never going to leave. No. He's going to be linked with Man City. Just like Benzema's been linked with Arsenal for the last 56 years.
I smell a 1-year extension there, mate.
Yeah, with links to coaching staff going on. Benzema will be there for the next 40 years. All right then, mate. Well, we will be back with another podcast talking about the other side of the table, who's going to get relegated. Of course, Bournemouth are in heaps of trouble, and Villa. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover all the games as well this weekend, and we'll even cover some of the championship games. But for now, we are out of here. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.